Okay, it's been a couple days since I posted a video, and the reason being is I'm sick as a dog right now. I'll tell you right up front. Anyway, I'm struggling with a little bit of a stomach bug, but I'll be okay. I always recover from these things. They're horrible, yes. Everybody gets them. Don't ask me about that. I have no idea why there's, 6 pins laying on my table? I don't know. Just one of those things. I just happened to find ink pens, and I think what it was is I was making a pile so I could put them somewhere where I would remember where they are. Well, you know how that goes. It never works, does it? You put them up, and you never find them. But anyway, today's video is going to be a tutorial. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a long video, and the reason it's going to be a long video is because I want to show you exactly how to do this. There's a lot of videos on YouTube right now that tell you how to, well, solve a Rubik's Cube. Well, solving a Rubik's Cube is not a science. Well, I guess it is a science. I shouldn't have said that. Solving the Rubik's Cube is just a matter of memorization. That's what solving a Rubik's Cube is. My phone is going crazy. But anyway, solving it is just a matter of memorization. I'm going to show you several moves that you need to memorize. And these moves will solve any Rubik's Cube. Doesn't matter how mixed up it is. If you can see, I'm mixing this one up. Trying to mix this one up. I struggle with the mixing up because it always comes out different every single time. So, anyway, what you want to do is you want to create a daisy. Find your center yellow dot. And directly across from that is the center white dot. But we're going to focus on this right now. What you need to do is you need to put a white one in these 4 spots here. A white dot in each one of these 4 spots here. That's your first move. That's the first one you need to memorize. So if you look at your cube, you can see I can turn this one up and I've got one. Then if I play with this for a little while, I can spin this one up and I've got 2. I can turn this and I've got 3. And there's the 4th one. It doesn't matter if this one's white. It really doesn't matter. At this point, you've got your daisy. Now, what you need to do, if you'll look, the white one's still on the exact opposite. So what you need to do is you need to transfer these 4 to this side. But you have to line up the center colors. Like, you see how this white one and this orange one are together? You need to spin it around where the white and the orange line up with the center orange. Does that make sense? I hope so. Then you're going to spin that 180 degrees. And you have this. And then you're going to continue that. So I'm going to go ahead and spin around the green, do a 180 with the green, spin around the red, do a 180 with the red, and of course the blue. Do a 180 with it. Then you end up with this on the bottom. Okay, so that's pretty simple so far, right? Now, that's the first set of technique that you need to know to do this. I guess technique's the right word. I don't know. Anyway, so now what we need to do is we need to get all these corners here white, but we also need to match this centered block and this center block, along with this center block with this center block, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Good. I'm glad. I'm not listening to what you had to say because I can't hear you. Anyway, so what I do is I find the white one here. I find the 2 colors that's on it. I have orange and blue. So I know that I need to put that block has to go here. So what I do is I spin this around, bring this around, pull that up, and I have this. Center is blue, center is orange, and the right block's in the right place. Well, look at this one. We've got orange, red, and green. Obviously, this bug is affecting my thinking. So anyway, we've got this and this. So we're going to spin this down, pull that up into place, and put that there. So now we have this. Now, we also have a blue and red. I got that right, finally. So we know that this was in the wrong place from the beginning. We're going to spin that down, pull this around, and pull that up. Then you've got the last one, of course, really easily to do. And you end up with sort of T's, I guess you could say. That is your next move, and you've got one side of your block fixed. Okay, now is when it really becomes complicated. This whole thing I've watched a couple videos on YouTube, and this whole thing gets complicated at this point. It gets really complicated. For the simple reason is there's two patterns to this next setup that's really complicated. It's not complicated, you just have to remember how to use those steps in order to make it work. So what you want to do is you want to turn this thing upside down, and you want to find any block in this position, in the center position, that does not have yellow on it. Does that make sense? See, this one has blue and yellow. We can't use it just yet, but we're going to use it. So the first one we come up with is the green and orange. We'll spin this one around. Now, what you want to do on this part is there's two patterns to this. This green has to end up here, and this orange has to end up here. Well, that's all well and good. Now, I'm going to show you the first pattern, which is reverse. You're going to go past it. You're going to turn this around to the orange, go past one in a counterclockwise motion. You're going to go clockwise on the bottom, or counterclockwise on the bottom, roll the front down, then bring these two like that. That's the first pattern. But look what we did to our white. So what you'll do is you'll roll this white up, move this one out of the way, pull this down, pull that up, and you have this. Then you just roll this one right back into place, and that fixes your white. Now, we move this block here in the right position, in the right orientation. Now, here, this is perfect because it's lined up exactly like I wanted to. This one, you're going to, because you have to have the blue here and the orange here, you roll it in the clockwise direction, counterclockwise, or clockwise on the bottom, roll the front, or the left side down, then roll this into position, and it's the same thing. Look, we still messed up our pattern. Roll that up, pull that around, bring this into position. Got a little confused there in my own head. That's okay, I'm sick, leave me alone. Okay, the next one that I see here is a red and green. Having problems with colors today for some reason. Okay, so we're going to roll this one back. This one goes in. What we need is we need this green here, this red here. Roll it in a counterclockwise position on the bottom. Bring this down to where we can roll this one into place. Same thing with fixing the white. We just got to continuously fix the white as long as we're doing this. Okay, now we have everything in position except for one, which is the red and the blue, which is not a problem. Now, this is working out perfect because now I need this red here, this blue here. So I'm going to roll this in this direction, which is a clockwise position, pull this down, pull that into place, roll this back up, and fix your white once again. There you go. Now that was the two patterns for fixing that part. And what you should have is you should have this. Your white solids, your white is fixed on the top, and then you have 6, 6, and 6 on these, and 6 on these. So we end up with this, all right, on the bottom. So what we need to do is we need to pull the yellows up into the center, just like that. That's another pattern you have to memorize. Front, and you end up with something like this. Now this one here is the most fun. I really enjoy this one. You end up with that. So this is continuous to repeat. So what you need to do is you need to mix it up. Until you end up with what I consider to be a fish, or what looks like a fish. Kind of a weird looking fish, but it's still a fish. And then you spin it around, and this is the pattern that you want to end up with. You want to end up with a yellow one here, the fish pointing in this direction, okay? Does that make sense? Now this next pattern is how you get all the yellow on the top. So you're going to go and that puts all the yellow on the top. Now look what you've got. You've got a solid orange across here. So what you'll need to do is turn that around to the orange. The orange side has worked, but you still got this mixed up. So here's another pattern that you need to memorize. You're going to go back, front, back, 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 front, back, 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 and then roll it down into place. Then, of course, you end up with something like this. It's going to vary depending on how you work it. The more you work it, the more you're going to realize that there's infinite amount, well, not infinite, but the more you work it, the more you're going to realize there's a lot of different patterns. Now, this is the last and final step and set of patterns that you need to memorize. You're going to go turn that upside down, and you just worked a Rubik's Cube. Now, that is how you make this thing work. It's just a matter of memorizing the patterns. It's just memorization. So if you memorize those patterns that I just showed you, you should be able to work any Rubik's Cube. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell. I'll be back at my regular posting tomorrow, I hope. If I feel better, I'm hoping I'll feel better by tomorrow. If I don't, then we'll see. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.